Hello and welcome back to Marineford TCG. My name's Joe and we're here with the top 4 of the Hokkaido CS. This is the first Japanese OP12 CS that we've seen. Really exciting stuff. Last round, we were able to see Green Zoro, the new leader out of OP12, taking down the old menace, Blue-Purple Luffy. And looks like as we're entering into this top 4, we have 2 Blue-Purple Luffys remaining, 1 Green Zoro, and 1 Red Zoro. Luffy's number 2, reaching out to be the guy who can finally take him down in both green and red. What a time to be alive. Like I say, last round, we saw Green Zoro able to control the board and have some pretty insane aggression into that blue-purple Luffy. Not letting him do very much of anything in the early game, using those cards like the Kuina that can rest a 4 and give 3 Don, and the Tashigi that can rest a 6 and give 3 Don, to control everything that blue-purple Luffy played down. It was a menace. And then at the end of the game, we saw those events like the Dead Man's Game, able to rest the Dons and the blockers. And then that 3-cost Luffy's the man will become the king of the pirates. To restand the leader. To get crazy aggression, even when your leader effect is not able to be utilized. In this match, I don't know what we're going to see. I'm hoping we'll see, maybe we'll see the Red Zoro. See how the Red Zoro is choosing to take on the Luffy. There was a lot of new tools printed in OP12. For sort of low to the ground aggro. A lot of them intended for Rayleigh, but I'm excited to see if the Red Zoro deck is taking advantage of any of them. Cards like that new 4-cost Luffy, that if you have the amount of events in your hand can cheat out a character, are pretty crazy. Lets you go even wider than before, with sort of a traditional Zoro build as opposed to the animal build. However, that animal build still very, very powerful, though using that chopper engine to summon a bunch of animals is pretty cool. And looks like we are seeing the Red Zoro. I'm hyped for this. We'll see if he's taking on the green version of himself or blue-purple Luffy. And I'm really excited to see if this is an animal build or if this is more of a traditional Zoro build. Like I say, that traditional build got quite a few buffs. Buggy has some interesting new events to search for. Although some of those are sort of locked to Silver's Rayleigh, the leader, in all but name. And that 4-cost Luffy, able to be searched off the Nami, and go wide with a traditional build could be pretty cool. The chopper build is no joke though. We've seen that do great success all throughout OP11. And looks like we are seeing him take on blue-purple Luffy. Let's see if this Zoro can beat the menace just like the green Zoro did last time. Will the stream curse continue for the blue-purple Luffy players? I'm excited to see. Blue-purple Luffy was undoubtedly the best deck of OP11, but as we enter OP12, he looks to have some new competition on his hands. Last set we saw a lot of Bello Betty towards the end of the set. That was the only real deck that had like a super winning matchup into this blue-purple Luffy. Other decks like Red Zoro, like Rob Lucci, and some other contenders could compete with the blue-purple Luffy, but nobody did it quite as consistently as Bello Betty. So we did see quite a lot of her. Maybe less this format if that Zoro is going to be really powerful. Zoro able to rest and take out all of Bello Betty's characters while still applying decent pressure to face. Seems pretty good to me. We do see the players drawing for turn, deciding whether or not they're going to mulligan. Looks like this blue-purple Luffy player is mulliganing. Yeah, he didn't like what he sees. He's going to be looking for ramp in the early game, the same as always. The characters that ramp, such as Zoro Juro, are even more impactful into the Red Zoro, considerably so more than into the Green Zoro, because they enable you to contest board. And contesting board into Red Zoro is incredibly important. His characters are weak, but when they're buffed up by that leader effect, they're no joke. You can't underestimate them. And it does look like we're going to see the Red Zoro player going first. If he's playing that chopper build, we could see that 3-cost chopper come down as soon as the 3-Don turn, which is pretty exciting. I'm really hyped to see this guy's hand. I want to know what build he's playing. Are we on a new traditional build? Or are we still sticking with the tried and true choppers? Both players have drawn their hands. We're setting out the life cards. I'm excited to see what's going on here. Looks like the judges are just fixing a small issue with the life. Not sure what was up with that. And as we start to look at the hands... Oh, okay. That hand for the Luffy player. Okay, it's gone. It's gone. We're looking at this guy. Okay, and here's the hand for the Zoro player. We've got one of that 3-cost chopper that can play a 4,000 power lower chopper from the top 5. Any animal, not just Chopper, but usually just Chopper. We've got the Alabaster Chopper that can cheat out that hiking bear there. And that card in the middle, if you're not familiar, this is an alt-art version of Kid and Killer. Kid and Killer, 7,000 power once your opponent hits 2 life or less. And against blue-purple Luffy, with 1 Don on leader, swinging for 8 for just 4 Don is pretty crazy. We do see at least 1 ramp. We've got the gear second. Couple of Nami blockers. Raging Tiger could be pretty good in this matchup into Red Zoro. It's a little slow, but it gets rid of 2 dudes, which is very impactful. And we also see a Gum Gum Giant. Gum Gum Giant, always a good pickup. I wonder if we'd see something like, because he's on evens, I wonder if we'd see something like the gear second on 4 into that Raging Tiger on 7. Potentially. We'll just have to see what he goes for here. This guy's got nice sleeves. I like the sleeves on this Luffy player. I've not seen those before. Is that the Kuzan ones? I don't know. Either way, they look clean. Regardless, we are going to see the Zoro player getting us underway real soon. These players are ready. This is the top 4 of the Hokkaido CS. Good luck to both these players. Let's get this match underway. And we do indeed see the Zoro player starting off 1 Don just to pass. 2 Don, Luffy player going to draw into something that I can't see. And then just is that another gear second? Look, it's some kind of event. Some kind of event. 3 Don for the Zoro player. Going to draw one of those counter events, but does choose to just play that Chopper. That Chopper on play looks at the top 5, looks for any animal type character with the power of 4,000 or less, and then plays it as rested. Looks like we've got the ducks. Not much else, and we're just going to bottom them. We don't even want to play the ducks. Interesting. And then we do see the pass over to the Luffy player. Luffy player, 4 Don, going to opt to swing 7 into Zoro. Zoro doesn't have any Dons open, so not fearing that counter event. We do see the take. We see another summoner. That's going to enable this guy to get some pretty insane early pressure. We do see the gear second, of course, 2 ramp up, and then a pass over to the Zoro player. Zoro player draws a Nami for turn. Not too bad. 5 Don. You've got to imagine 1 of those going on leader. 3 of those may well be for that other Chopper. And then maybe keeping 1 for the summoner event. That Chopper able to do the same thing when attacking as his on play. But that summoner event, when someone attacks, you can activate for 1 Don and do the same thing. You can look at the top 5 for a 3 cost or less animal type character, which is pretty crazy. And we are seeing 6 interface with that Chopper. And we will see the ditch of 1k with the Nami. 6k more with the Zoro. We're looking to get some more counter or a life out of this Luffy player. The aggression that Zoro puts on, he's been doing it since OP01. He's crazy. And we do see the take, gets another 2k. So we do have a couple of 2ks now in the hand. Oh, and we do have 2 Raging Tigers. We could see, as soon as this turn, the Raging Tiger come down and get rid of both of those summoner choppers, which could be pretty crazy. We do see that second Chopper come down. Looks like he's eyeing up the blocker Chopper from EB01. That blocker Chopper is a blocker, and then has Don X2. You can give something minus 3,000 when attacking. Nope, looks like we're eyeing up the Alabaster Chopper instead. That Alabaster Chopper able to come down, rested off the Book Chopper's effect, and then play out a 3,000 power or less animal from hand. And we do see the Hiking Bear hit the field, and then just a pass. 1 Don open for that counter event. Like I was saying, that counter event, when this Luffy player attacks, and he's going to want to attack, able to look at the top 5, grab any 3 cost or less animal, which can even get another one of those summoners. Now, that summoner's on play is only in your turn. So if you get it with the event, you can't bring out another guy. That would be too crazy. But it's still very, very powerful. We do potentially have the Raging Tiger available as an option. Looks like we're going 6k into the Alabaster Chopper. Will we see this Zoro player use their counter event? Looks like we will. 1 Don. Look at the top 5, looking for any 3 cost or less animal type character. Looks like we are going to see an Alabaster Chopper come down. You could just play it over that already existing Alabaster Chopper. And then the attack that was going to that old one, it just fizzles because it's no longer on the board anymore. Pretty crazy synergy there. Once you've got that full board, you just get out of the attack for free effectively. We do see the Raging Tiger come down. Really big play there from this blue-purple Luffy. Getting rid of a lot of aggression there out of the Zoro. These characters on the board, whilst they can attack, they require a little bit more of an investment. For example, that Hiking Bear. you can buff him to 4k with the leader effect. But if you want to swing even for 6, you've got to put 2 dons on him. And you know, that's a significant investment. That is a significant investment. We do see another Nami Searcher come down off the top deck for the Zoro. And looks like we're eyeing up what we want to do with our attacks. We're going to put 1 Don on Hiking Bear, buffing the Alabaster Chopper. That Alabaster Chopper now at 6k. 1k extra from the Hiking Bear, 1k extra from the Leader's Effect. We will see the pitch of the Mr. 2 Bon Clay. Ramp, always good, but counter is more important. We do see 6k coming out from the Hiking Bear once more. Looks like we are going to see it counter again with that Sanji. 2k counter. Zoro, 6k more into Luffy, and you see the aggression, right? The aggression is crazy. We do see one more pitch on a 2k. Now, we could attack with the Ducks, or we could play out that Kid Killer. Looks like we're going to attack for 6 with the Ducks. Can't use the Ducks when attacking, but we do finally get a hit through on this Zoro player. Gets a 9-cost Sanji, but that's not live this turn. 1-cost Nami coming down. Looking at the top 5, searching for any Straw Hat Crew type card. This point in the game, maybe looking for some rush options. Rush options could be pretty impactful. Looks like we're eyeing up a 2k Sanji, though. Okay, not opting for that Zoro. Interesting. Interesting. And we do see the hand. It's just a couple of choppers. Kid Killer and a Nami 2k. Sorry, a Nami Searcher. And we do see that second Nami coming down. What are we looking for? I'm not sure. I thought we were looking for rush options, but I guess not. Maybe looking for some counter. We do see 5 cards off the top. Looks like we're eyeing up that Rush Zoro now. Yes, taking that Rush Zoro. That Zoro, 3 cost, 5k power, Rush. Simple, classic. OP01, you can't beat the classics. With that Zoro's leader effect, able to swing for 6 immediately. Insane. And we do see the Luffy player drawing a gear second for turn. Now, I wonder if we'll see another Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Drawing so many of these early on, it's pretty crazy value. You got to say. Looks like he is eyeing that up. We do have 9 Don available. Could leave a couple open for counter events. We are going to see 6k into the Hiking Bear. Hiking Bear going to go down. And we are going to go with the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger once more. Bottoming 2 characters for the price of 1. Getting rid of both the Ducks and that chopper that was on the board. Leaving the Zoro player with just a couple Namis. And Nami, not a very powerful character. A cool girl, but not very powerful. Unless you have access to Makino, of course. And we don't currently have any of those. We do have some good rush options. We could potentially see both the Zoro and the Kid Killer even hit the board this turn. Which could be some pretty nuts aggression. Looks like we've got at least 1 Don on leader. Not sure if we'd see these Namis attack. They're only at 3,000 power at the minute. So you would need to put 3 Don on them to even swing for 6, which is a little bit iffy. We do see 6 at lead, going to ditch that Nami blocker, going all the way down to 3 cards in hand. Pretty nuts. We do have 2 Dons open. I don't think this Luffy player is going to die this turn. But he's certainly not in a great spot. Going to get to use his leader effect, so long as he doesn't need to Giant, which is pretty good. And that gear second, no problem to use that one. But some pretty crazy aggression, right? It can't be understated how insane this Zoro's aggression has been in this early game. Luffy not even got to use 1 leader effect yet. Not even 1. Looks like we're eyeing up potentially that 3-cost Zoro. Nope, we're going to go 6 with Nami. 6 with Nami. Pretty crazy. We may well just have to see this gear second come out on this one. Because if you don't counter this one, well, we're potentially eyeing up a big swing. But we do see the take. We do see the take, and it's just a Charlotte pudding. Now, this Zoro player got options. Could simply put 5 Don on his Nami and swing 8. Or we could play out the Kid Killer. That's at base power, 8 power already. And we could see a swing of 9 with that. Looks like we're seeing the Zoro, though. The Zoro, another option. 6k more power. And we do see the 1k coming out with that pudding. 2 Don. Gonna see the 2k Sanji. That 2k Sanji able to use Activate Main. Taking a life. Just refill this Zoro player's hand. Give 2 Don to the Sanji. He's not able to attack this turn. But we'll be able to use exactly the same effect next turn. Which is going to be very powerful. Because this Luffy player is not in a position to deal with the whole of this Zoro player's board. Looks like we are going to see the stack. We see a couple of Katakuris, a 2k Usahachi, a Nami blocker, and a Sanji. You got to feel that this guy was probably looking for Linlin. Linlin, so much more powerful than that Katakuri. Getting you that life and getting rid of one of your opponent's fellas. Pretty crazy. Looks like we are going to see the take on that Nami. Maybe going to stack the Usahachi. And maybe then play Sanji into Katakuri. Just to try and have some kind of game plan. But if you're not able to deal with the Zoro's board, it's not looking good, you know? Looks like we're going to see the bottom. We're going to see the bottom. We're really digging for Linlin, I think. Linlin could be really, really good. Getting rid of, for example, that 2k Sanji. We don't. We just see a gear second. Are we going to see just the Nami come down? We are going to see just the Nami, but that's not going to be good enough because the Luffy player, the Zoro player, if you look in his hand, he's got Gum Gum Mole Gun. Gum Gum Mole Gun, 4-cost event. Give something -5. Then if you control a 6,000 power or greater character, you can pop a 2k power. That's going to remove that Nami immediately. Crazy. We do see the Nami drawing cards, getting rid of what looks like a 9-cost Sanji and a gold thread. We don't really need those at this point in the game. We do have a lot of events, right? We've got double giants, double gear 2s. So that's a lot of counter. But as soon as you start going below that 8 Don threshold before your refresh phase, so if he was to use 2 Gum Gum Giants, for example, the game just becomes a lot trickier because you're no longer drawing 2 cards per turn. You no longer have control of what you're drawing, and you no longer have the ability to play things like Katakuri as easily. Things like Linlin. And we do see the bottom of that Gold Thread and Sanji. We've got 5 Don left. How many Dons is this Luffy player going to leave open? Looks like it's 3 is the answer. And we do see 8k into the Zoro. We can defend this as Zoro. We've got a 2k, 1k, 1k in the 2 choppers and the hiking bear. But it's very expensive. It's very all in. Looks like he is eyeing it up though. Yeah, he's going to set out his stand. He says, look at this. I'm using all these cards to defend this guy. My board's crazy. This aggression is going to just go crazy. We will need to see at least 1 Don come onto the leader first to buff that Zoro to 6k if he wants to use and get the full effect of that Gum Gum Mole Gun. We do see the 1-cost counter event. Much more impactful early in the game. We do see that 1 Don though hit the leader, buffing all those dudes. The Sanji, 4k. Zoro, 6k. These Namis at 3k. I imagine the Gum Gum Mole Gun's got to come out, right? It's not going to be an easy lethal here, though, right? With the amount of counter events that this Luffy player has access to, he can play 1 giant and 2 gear seconds and still be 8 Don in his next turn, which is nuts. We do see the Mole Gun, though, getting rid of that Nami. We do see the Sanji 2k taking a life, buffing himself by 2,000 power. 2 Don onto him. He's at 8 now. 8k power is a very good number. Obviously, can be gotten out of for as simple as a gear second. But getting to reuse 2 of those rested Dons that we used to play the Mole Gun, it's just double value, right? It's crazy. And we are going to see 8k coming in from that Sanji. You've got to imagine that this Luffy player is just going to opt for the gear second here. 1 Don looks like, yeah, we are going to see the gear second come out. That gear second 3k counter event only for your leader. But in this case, we have no characters anyway, so who cares? Now we're going to see 6k from the Zoro. And frustratingly for this Luffy player, there are no 1ks. Quite frustrating, you have to imagine. We are going to see the Gum Gum Giant come down, ditching that Sanji, Don -2. Going to draw a couple of fresh cards, looking for counter, no doubt. But all we see is 2 big mums. That is not optimal. Holy. That is not good for this player here. And we do see 6k more from the Zoro. And we've got to use the Giant. We've got to use a second Giant. Because if we simply gear second, and this Nami swings for 8, well, the game's over. We've got no more Don. Only 1 more Don available. I wonder if we should have ever left 1 more Don up. Interesting to think about. But with this hand, just 2 counter events and 2 big Linlins. Yeah, it's not what this guy was hoping to draw off that Giant. This is a really exciting end to this game with the Zoro versus the Luffy. And we do see the Gum Gum Giant come down at Don -2 once more, setting him back to that 6 Don. And like we discussed, even if he survives here, he's not in a good position. But only gets 2k counter. That's not enough, right? Kid Killer comes down, 8k into the leader. And that's the game. He only has 2k. What a turn of events. Zoro able to just rush this Luffy absolutely out of the game. He had one turn to come back into it and stabilize. He needed that Lin. He just didn't get it. All he got was the Nami blocker and a million events. If he got that Lin, able to remove the Zoro, maybe this game could have been different. Either way, that was really exciting. I've been Marine for TCG. Congratulations to both of these players. We'll be back with the finals before you know.